Today's show is brought to you by StreamTech Drift Boats, the world's most versatile drift boat. Find them at www.streamtechboats.com. I kind of feel bad for these people, but at the same time I don't because they're stupid.
Don't see a circle around yourself, just start pissing everywhere.
Oh, I hate the Dutch.
Welcome to our country. So.
She doesn't really look Canadian. She looks almost American. Just insulted all of Canada.
Oh, every time I see something, you got If I'd known that before, I would have just interspaced every other sentence with something horrible.
Well, I haven't felt my feet since I sat down in the chair.
Can you see your feet, though?
No. I'd rather do anything else on the planet than go tip a cow over.
How about Canada? Is there any stream access issues up in Canada?
Nobody cares.
Not very much.
Kids, if you don't understand that joke, ask your parents.
Evan, Derek?
Yeah.
Oh, God, here it comes.
Your flies are open.
Thanks.
Grab hold of your flies. This is a podcast for nymphers, strippers, swingers, and dry fly guys. It's the show that brings you stories, instruction, and conservation from three guys who live it every day. This is The Open Fly.
Snack time.
Yeah, I guess we're starting. Kirk, what are you eating?
It's a trail mix that Derek brought. It's, the Snack Artist Mountain Mix Trail Mix.
All right, well, welcome to the show. You can hear Kirk chewing peanuts.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Get your own snacks.
Yeah. So I think I need to make a new rule about no eating in the mics. I think that's a necessary new rule to bring in.
Is it clean, or what's that for? What would be a proposal of that
I don't know.
magnitude?
We're a little out of practice.
We can make a rule submission, a proposal submission on our website from listeners because that works for WDFW.
Is it on behalf of the listener that you're inquiring about the status of the microphones, or on behalf of the equipment?
Yes.
Gotcha.
My own sanity. I don't want to throw anything on the air.
We haven't done this for a while, have we?
No, I was just thinking of everything that's happened since the last show.
Well, the last show was supposed to be last Thursday, right?
It was, and we canceled it about a half hour before we were supposed to start.
Didn't we get stood up?
Yes and no. I had a really good guest lined up, and they were on vacation. And I knew they were on vacation. They were on vacation till the day before the show, and so I didn't expect to hear from them. But I left them a message, said, "Hey, just let me know when you're back so we can talk details and get everything squared away." And didn't hear back from them all the way up until the show was supposed to start, and said, "All right, we're just going to call it." And they emailed me about an hour later and asked where we were. And I was like, "Well, you never even confirmed that you were on board. I hadn't heard from you in over a month, so
Well,
Yeah.
Communication
is hard.
It is.
Yeah. So, since the last show, what's all gone on? I went to ICAST/IFTD.
Ooh.
That's, the cool kid party.
Yeah.
All the who's who in fishing.
What's what? New products.
New products. And
a lot of hullabaloo and whatnot.
Yeah, it was a time.
Yeah?
Yeah, down in Orlando.
Did you sell some Allen products?
Well, it's not really a show where you sell stuff. It's a show where you showcase stuff. And it's an industry only. The people that attend are only, within the fishing industry. So, yeah, we might have picked up some new distributors and this, that, and the other thing. Saw a bunch of cool stuff.
Nice.
I don't know. It's a good time. Looking forward to going back next year.
Is it always in Florida, or do they move that show around?
The IFTD, which is the fly fishing portion of it, was on its own until last year, and it would I went to it in New Orleans a couple years ago, and then it was in Reno, and then last year it met up with the ICAST. They combined the two shows, so it's the the standard fishing plus fly fishing all in one show. So it's ICAST/IFTD, and that was in Vegas last year. This year it was in Orlando, and I think next year it's also in Orlando.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, it really puts things into perspective on how small the fly fishing world is.
Yeah.
Like the Shimano booth was bigger and had more people working in it than the entire fly fishing section of the show. It was like a car lot almost. You walk into the Shimano booth and it was just this giant spread of like everything Shimano, and then there was probably 75 or so uniformed Shimano salesmen with clipboards ready to pounce on you as soon as you walk into the booth.
Why were bike derailers at a fishing show?
I think they were just selling bike brakes this time.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a cool experience, and like I said, just really, I mean, I always knew conventional tackle was the bigger market and everything, but it really showed how small fly fishing is and just how humble of an industry fly fishing is compared to some of those. I mean, there was booths on the fishing, the standard fishing side that probably cost $500,000+ just to put that booth together. I mean, 2-story booths, like you walk in and like you can walk up a staircase to the offices in the upper level kind of thing, like in a trade center, like it's in a trade show, convention center, and like they bring in a crew to put up their booth, and it's like a storefront. I mean, it's just insane.
Do they put all 10 of the fly fishing people in one little corner?
Yeah, pretty much. These people have like $500,000 spreads that they set up or more, and then you got us, Alan, we're in our little 10x10 with a banner hung up on the railing and a folding leg table. We put a tablecloth over that we picked up at the Walmart beforehand.
Perfect.
Yeah. So
it's almost like a red for the industry.
Yeah. It's
a nice summer run for the industry. And come on in and
yeah.
Don't step on.
But it's always cool to see everybody, hang out with the guys at Rio, and I think I might have a good chance of getting Simon in here because he's doing a casting demo down the road here in like a month and a half.
Where at?
And he might be crashing at my place at the Ben Howard launch.
Oh.
So
have a wee dram with Simon.
So he agreed that we'll hang out and possibly go fishing, and he might be crashing here at my place because he doesn't want to stay at the Best Western in Monroe. So I'm going to see if I can schedule a show while he's here because he'd be a good one to have on the show. Yeah. So we're just putting him on the spot here, making this public.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so plan to tune in about a month. We'll have Simon Gosworth from Rio on the show.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know. It's not a promise. It's just something I'm working on because he's somebody I've wanted to have on the show for a while.
Yeah, he's an engaging guy.
He is. He's a very interesting dude and an incredible caster. So
people are listening, so it's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So anything you guys been up to? I mean, did you guys do anything as cool as going to ICAST?
I did something cooler.
Oh.
I went to Idaho.
Oh.
Yeah, I just got
What's that stand for?
It's a long acronym. I have to work that out.
Okay. Cool.
No, it's kind of an annual thing I've done. This year I went with my brother and my son, and we went on horseback with the St. Joe Outfitters. Packed in about 5 miles up the St. Joe River in Idaho, and
took horses, huh?
Rode some beasts of burden.
Mm-hmm. They didn't have ATVs or something. They just went old school.
No motorized vehicles up there. It's a designated.
Those rules are for other people.
Yeah,
smartly followed though.
There's people up at the road. People ride their quads up and down the road, but past the road is a trailhead that wouldn't accommodate a motorized.
I understand.
Vehicle anyway.
Did you slay some hogs?
No hogs of note, but some nice fish up to about 16, 17 inches on a 3-weight. That's kind of fun.
That is fun.
It's fun.
I have to do that this afternoon.
Yeah. Heard my first wolf in the wild, which was kind of cool.
I didn't see it.
No, I was late at night. We were around the campfire drinking and telling lies, and heard it call out about 4 or 5 times, and then silence.
And looked up on the hillside to see the silhouette of a wolf howling at the moon.
Well, it turned out to be some guy wearing a wolf T-shirt, but other than that.
Have you seen did you see that picture I posted a while back? Everybody's seen the wolf shirt at this point. The 3 wolves howling at the moon. There's a version somebody made of 3 steelhead heads. It's pretty excellent. You can use the Googler and find that. It shows up pretty easily.
Do steelhead howl at the moon?
I don't know. There's not enough data to support that. I mean, it's not like you see a steelhead every couple of years.
True.
They're kind of like Sasquatch. You hear about them every so often.
Yeah.
So
we had some fireside speculation about the reality of Bigfoot up there. It's squatchy looking country.
your fire didn't get away from you, did it? Because that's been happening lately.
No, this area was actually the fire danger was not even high.
Because I don't know if you heard, but like half of Washington, I think, burnt down last week.
Yeah, it was burning as we drove east.
Yeah.
It was brutal. But no, the bitter roots on the Idaho side anyway were damp. They'd had rain fairly recently. It rained one night that we were there, and they had a damp spring, so
that's good.
River was in good shape. Nothing was tinder dry.
Cool. Right on.
We should, after their season closes, we should get the St. Joe Outfitters on. They have a really unique operation. It'd be fun to talk to them about what they do.
Sure. Do they have phones? Because I know they use horses.
Satellite phone for emergency only.
Oh, so we'll just call them on their satellite phone?
Well, they actually live in civilization after the season closes. But,
yeah,
they're off the grid.
Good.
Yep.
Awesome. Sounds like a good time.
It was a good time, yeah.
So, Derek, you've just been guiding and getting into some trouts and on some hoppers and right on.
It's been good.
Cool. Well, I'm going to go see if I can have some success with trout on hoppers and or caddis or something this afternoon, but I imagine I'll mostly just see scantily clad women in tubes, which, I mean...
Nothing wrong with that.
No, it's fine. Usually. I mean, sometimes it's not.
It's Thursday, so...
Is that a good day for it?
Probably not as good as Monday.
Oh. All right. Well, the weather's good.
The Monday population is quite different than the Thursday population.
The weather is good.
It is good. Well, I'm kind of melt in the sun, but you know, by most people's standards, it's good. So I'm humoring everybody.
There you go.
Yeah.
You probably liked it last week when we had those 2 shitty days.
I was so into that.
58 degrees and raining.
Oh man, I spent so much time outside, loving it. Yeah, I like it. I belong here. I belong living under a moss-covered rock. He's shaking his head.
It's a hard week for you then last week.
Yeah, I've been indoors. I've been hiding this week. I tried to go for a run in the sun 2 days ago, and
there's your first problem.
Made it about maybe a quarter of the way I had intended, and was like, nope, too hot, and just went back home.
I saw a bumper sticker yesterday. It was on the back of the car. It said it was 13.1 instead of the 26.2.
Yeah,
just the numbers 13.1, and then below it in script it said because I'm only half as crazy.
Never understood people that run. You know, it's like you're taught from an early age not to avoid problems, so why run from it? Stop, turn around, face your issues.
Yeah. Well, I won't even tell you the circumstances in which I was running or how I was doing it. It wasn't just a regular run. I was pulling a 135-pound sled while I was at it. So just to make a terrible exercise worse.
I got that damn Bob Seger song in my head. Thanks. Fuck.
I pulled it an entire mile out of 3, and it was just like, nope, not happening.
Why would you do a thing like that?
So I can be awesome. You see my legs? My legs are huge. Yeah.
Huge?
Yeah, huge.
The H is silent, right?
Yeah.
Huge.
My arms are small, but I got massive legs.
Like a T-Rex?
So...
You just got a nickname.
So is anything else happening in the fishing world you guys can think of?
Get this on camera.
There's a lot of things happening. I mean, rivers are low. We got hoot owl effects on the Truckee.
Yeah, the Truckee. They're thinking about. Well, they're nothing. They want to close that down because it's going to be dry pretty soon because of the drought.
I have videos and stuff.
Yeah, look it up. Truckee River Keepers.
Fish are dead right now and dying, so they need some help down there.
If anybody knows the Truckee River Keepers, tell them to get a hold of us because I've failed so far at finding contact for them. So I'm sure one of you guys knows somebody.
Somebody knows somebody.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, in other parts of the country, Colorado's getting some deluge relief from their long-standing drought. You know, I don't know what the deal is. Hey,
and we were just knocking everything, chewing in the mics, shaking up.
What the deal is?
Yeah,
with
today's
California.
Yeah, and in hatchery news, because there's always that. So on a popular website recently, Gary Loomis, actually this was yesterday, came on and was doing let's say a Q&A session basically to promote his new rod company he's trying to start because he's got a Kickstarter for it and everything. And
like Loomis?
Yeah. Gary Loomis, the Gary Loomis.
Yeah.
And who's the chairman of CCA here in Washington.
How would a guy like him start a new rod company? I mean, you've already got G. Loomis.
And he's tried a couple times, and he's trying again. So, yeah, of course the conservation thing came up in the conversation, and long story short, basically just blatant lie after blatant lie over how hatcheries operate and everything, and it was pretty disappointing to see somebody of that platform just straight up knowingly sending out misinformation, and I thought it was so bad that it was worth bringing up.
Maybe it'll be the Gary, the new line.
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty bad. I know a few people that were involved in that conversation. It was pretty frustrating, the amount of misinformation. I mean, it's just kind of the things that we're up against and trying to do, steelhead and salmon restoration up here, and just dealing with people parading around as conservation organizations and just plain laying out false facts without anything to substantiate it. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty stupid. Somebody brought it up to my attention the other day, so I read through it. It was pretty bad. So, yeah, just keep an eye out for that kind of stuff.
Kind of like the Jesse Ventura story.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And what's that story?
Googler it.
Yeah, Googler it.
All right.
Yeah, we don't want to even
Jesse the Body Ventura?
We don't want to give him airtime. He's not worthy of it.
Yeah, he's kind of a scumbag, too. Not kind of, he is. He kind of personifies that word.
It's just moving in cycles right now. I mean, look at the tribe canceled the Ted Nugent concerts down in wherever they were at because it was complaints.
Yeah, well, it's Ted Nugent. Screw him.
What were they complaining about the Nuge for?
First Amendment.
Oh.
Freedom of speech can be widely interpreted.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, he made comments that people didn't like because he does that a lot.
It's not the first time.
No, this time they were especially distasteful.
Yeah.
But moving along, I think we got some feedback, Kirk. We can cue up your theme music for the one. We got more than one feedback, but a lot of it was just a lot of, "Oh, I love your show. You guys are funny. Ha ha ha. Thank you." But we don't need to read that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so if I can hold my phone far enough away from my face that I can actually see the writing.
Yeah, we're a paperless show.
Yeah. Mike, St. Louis Mo, writes in, "Greetings from flyover country."
Hi.
I have no idea what that means.
Planes fly over that part of the country.
No,
Yeah.
They don't go to.
They fly over more than they land there.
Okay, I gotcha. I'm Mike in St. Louis, land of the put and take trout fisheries and home of tight lining for catfish. Yum. Anyway, I'd like to thank you for a fantastic product.
Would slacklining for catfish work? Is that an option?
I don't know.
All right. Carry on.
He'd like to thank us for a fantastic product. Did we send him a product, or is this a product?
I think we are the product.
Content.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
After finding the link to the podcast on the Allen Fly Fishing website, I downloaded Stitcher to my Android device and power listened to all 16, now 17 episodes.
Holy cow.
Wow, that's commitment.
Jeez.
Let me tell you that you keep me laughing and informed on the issues regarding fisheries that I'd someday love to fish. Thank you for the hours of entertainment.
You're welcome.
Yeah. The cutting-edge humor never escapes me, and I often
It's
find
escaping
myself...
me right now.
You're interrupting me.
I'm sorry.
This is my segment.
Yep.
You're a little flat right now. Could you pep it up a little bit?
Well, I'm...
It's because he's not in his booster seat.
Yeah, exactly. The cutting-edge humor never escapes me, and I often find myself laughing even when you guys aren't. Oh, now I have a little personal note. To Kirk, just to let you know, you are not short or not of average height, as you tower over my 5'4" awesomeness. Wow, what a sawed-off wee fellow. Do you know how hard it is to find short fat man waiters?
Nope, neither Kirk or I know what that's like.
So in closing, please keep up the great work bringing conservation issues to the forefront. Keep picking guides' minds for stories, and don't you dare get instructional, or I'll come out there and bite your ankles.
So Derek, how do I fish a hopper effectively?
This is not an instructional podcast. But I'm not going to
we'll talk about it. Oh, son of a bitch.
We have important things to talk about today. How to throw hoppers is secondary to it.
Well,
thanks for the comment, Mike.
Yeah. Said more. Hey, Mike, you know what? I'm going to send you a free T-shirt just to set a good example. How about that?
Hey, there we go.
Yeah. He wins.
Don't say we never did anything for you.
Well, we used to like take our 5 or 6 feedbacks and draw a winner between them to send them something. But you know what?
Hey.
Since Mike's the only one that sent us one that we read on the air.
Yeah.
You know,
Let us know what size you need, Mike.
Yeah. So, yay. Yeah, we got other ones. I just, we need ones that make for good radio, like that one. You know. Actually, one guy sent us a feedback that involved a photo from a magazine. The Drake had a picture of a guy holding a fish, and his fly was open. But we couldn't really show that on the show.
Hashtag hash browns.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So,
do we have that we could post online somewhere?
Yeah, I could probably do that. But I mean, we don't really own the rights to the magazine, so I don't know what the...
No, you give the Drake credit. I mean,
that's true.
It's publicity for them.
It is. So yeah, it's
Hashtag
just
the Drake.
Yeah, it's just a dude holding a fish with his fly open, and it's a good picture.
Can you see a San Juan worm?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, all right. That wasn't really all that funny.
No, it's okay.
Let's do a quick break and then get the folks from Sportsmen for Browns Canyon on.
Yeah, Browns Canyon. That's in Colorado, right?
It is.
The Arkansas River.
Mm-hmm.
That's confusing to me and probably some other people.
That's why they're coming on to explain the whole thing, because how can Arkansas be in Colorado?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So we got to figure that out.
Does the Colorado flow through Arkansas as well? I don't think it goes that direction.
Colorado River,
you know what I don't get? You got Kansas and Arkansas. They're like, no, man, it's Arkansas.
Yeah, no. So why don't they call it Kensaw?
What?
I can't comment. My wife's a Razorback, so I'm going to stay out of this one.
What's a Razorback?
It's a hog.
Oh. I was like...
How dare you, sir? I challenge you to a duel.
I was like, I'm pretty sure he just called his wife some kind of swine.
I did not come up the valley this morning bearing the finest of linens and fruits and nuts from my land of Snoqualmie to devolve to be insulted. I challenge you, sir.
Hey, boy.
Is the Razorback is that a sports ball organization?
Yeah. Arkansas Razorbacks.
Razorbacks.
Hey, I'm chewing on a raisin right now.
Nice.
Hashtag raisins.
This is the hashtag show, everybody.
Hashtag.
Yep.
Let's go to break.
I don't want to.
Well,
what if
we got to call Kyle?
What if we refuse?
What if we're holding out?
Kyle's waiting for our phone call right now.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we're going to go on break and listen to this word from our sponsors.
It's very exciting.
This is Derek, and on behalf of Stream Tech Boats, I want to talk to you about 3 factors that I consider really important when you're choosing a drift boat, and that's safety, fun, and performance. These are the safest drift boats around to float out of. They're fun to row, and from a performance standpoint, if you're a professional on the water, all 3 of these factors are important. So let's take a second to hear from the man who designed the boat himself.
I tried pretty much everything, but just none of them were really doing what I wanted. So we set out to design a boat. I'd call it the one boat that would maneuver like the hard boats, that would go in the really rough places, that would float high, that would have all the amenities that come on a hard boat with anchor systems and good leaning, a very nice flat floor that you can inflate hard, that you can stand on, no bolts, no nuts, no pins, no clips, nothing to put it together. For the reasons that it's so good for fishing, it got this rocker, and so it pivots quickly, and it slides out on the foam pile when you come off big drops. That rocker just climbs right out on the foam pile. A total game changer.
So there you have it. My recommendation, links, words. Look for us at www.streamtechboats.com. Call Link directly. He'll answer that phone, and he'll get you on your way towards the best drift boat on the market.
Now back to the open fly.
All right, we are back. Today we have a twofer for you, kind of a stories and conservation all rolled into one. We got Kyle and Bill from, is it Sportsmen for Browns Canyon? Is that who we're talking to?
Yes,
that's correct.
Cool. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about Browns Canyon in Colorado today. Kyle and Bill, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So Kyle Perkins and Bill Dvorak, correct?
Correct.
All right. So, Derek, why don't you go ahead and you're the one that kind of put this together. So why don't you go ahead and introduce the segment and tell a little bit what we got going on here.
Yeah, this is of particular interest to me because I've lived in Colorado and visited this place many, many times. So even though I'm not there now, it's a place that still holds value to me. So I wanted to have Kyle on the show for quite some time, though, because of his role in the conservation community, both with TU and now with this new campaign, as well as the greenbacks. So it's been a show I wanted to have for quite some time, so I'm glad it's all come together, especially on an issue as important as this one. So
it's kind of a dream come true.
It might be a dream come true, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So hopefully everyone feels the same way.
Derek, I'm picking all the M&Ms and raisins out of your trail mix. I hope that's okay. All right, carry on.
So, Kyle, tell us a bit more about your background, just briefly, and then the current campaign. What's going on, and what do we need to know?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've been involved with TU a number of years, probably 10 years, dating back to Pebble and, of course, the Greenbacks. And now we're working really to permanently protect Browns Canyon. And, when I go and speak to various chapters or groups, one of the first questions I ask is, who's fish hunted, floated, hiked, camped, anything in Browns Canyon. And I get quite a few people that raise their hands. And then I say, leave your hands up. And I say, who knows, this has been under, it's been in legislation to protect this place permanently for over 20 years. And the number of hands almost completely dropped. So this is a very long thing that it's been going on. Senator Udall recently, our Senator Mark Udall, in Colorado recently, in December last year, introduced the latest bill to declare the area as a national monument. And, there's been, a lot of progress on that. And that's, from Child Limited's perspective, we've really stepped up the sportsman side of the campaign for the hunting and fishing and rafting and, any kind of sporting, adventure in there. So, basically, a little more, background on it. This was and Bill can probably correct me here, but this is it's been a wilderness study area until about 2011. I'm not really exactly sure when that started, but basically when that ended, we had a few mining claims come in, which kind of raised that concern level quite a bit. So which really kind of put people into action, really wanted to protect it more. And right now, the best way to protect that is a national monument status, and we're kind of supporting that legislation as much as we can. We had a hearing just last week in the Senate Committee, the Parks and Recreation, I believe, committee. And, the U.S. Forest Service was very much in support of it. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of waiting on next steps there. But, what was really a lot of the questions that we get, we want to, make sure that people are aware that this area and the proposal that's there is basically just to keep things exactly the way they are today. Mm-hmm. All the trails, the access, everything, the management through BLM and the Forest Service stays exactly the same. So there would be no changes after that. And that's a lot of the questions that I've had to answer.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, we're promoting, and especially, the Arkansas River, there, included in Browns, was designated gold medal water. And, I'm sure Bill can also speak to this, that, this wasn't gold medal water, 30, 40 years ago. This is, from old mining stuff. There were no fish in there. And so it's a big step, and we just, it's time to protect this place, as much as we can.
Very nice. Yeah.
So gold medal, that's not the same designation as blue ribbon, correct?
I'm not familiar with blue ribbon. I know, here in Colorado, we have gold medal.
I think it's like gold album versus platinum.
Yeah.
Gold medal is a Colorado designation, and blue ribbon is a Wyoming designation. It's probably the easiest
as well as
thing.
Washington.
They both designate, a certain number of fish that are over a certain size per mile and a certain amount of fish per mile. So they're very similar designations. I'm from Wyoming, but I've lived most of my life in Colorado, so I'm very familiar with those designations.
Okay. Another quick question. I don't know anything about the Arkansas River or Browns Canyon. How big of an area geographically are you talking about designating as a protected place?
Specifically in Browns, it's around 22,000 acres.
Okay. And how far is that from Arkansas?
It's a ways, but it does flow to Arkansas.
Fair answer.
To all our Arkansas listeners, we do apologize in advance. So, Bill,
it is one of the huge headwaters there, though.
Yeah. Bill, I know of you through, I think probably the most visible aspect of your name is the rafting business you have there on the Arkansas, and but it sounds like you're also a fisherman as well. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing and your perspective from a guiding point on why this is such an important issue.
Yeah, I've lived down here in the valley since 1984, and I've been an outfitter since '79. And the Arkansas is probably one of the best rivers we run. We actually run 9 rivers throughout the Southwest. But we've chosen to make our home here just because we value this valley, and we like the fact that I'm looking out my office window now at 14,000-foot peaks at the Continental Divide, and we have 28 of the 54 Colorado 14ers in this valley. So it gives you an idea of what the valley's like.
It's quite a view from the floor there of the valley.
Yeah, we just designated 102 miles of the river as gold medal, and I think that doubles the amount of gold medal water that we have in the state now. So it's become a tremendous fishery, and it has been that status for about the last 4 or 5 years, but it finally got the designation this year. And what it's known for, we get a big caddis hatch in April, and so a lot of people will come for that April caddis hatch. And then, of course, high water comes because the snow begins to melt out of the mountains, and the fishing goes down a little bit till usually around mid-June, and then we just have great dry fly fishing after that because those fish are very hungry after they've had that high water, and they haven't been able to feed as voraciously as they had when they had the caddis out. Mm-hmm. That caddis usually fattens them up enough that they can sustain themselves through that high water period, and then July, August, into September, it fishes extremely well in here.
When is the whitewater season for you then? Just early spring and then some in the fall, or?
Well, basically, we run whitewater trips basically from usually later April right into September, October. We've got a great thing on this river, which is called a flow program. And what they do is they've set aside a certain amount of water that if the river gets below a certain level at a gauging station in Wellsville, which is 700 CFS, they'll augment flows to keep it at 700 CFS through the middle of August. And it does a couple of things. One, it makes the whitewater good through that time. But it also makes the fishery better simply because we're bringing in colder, fresh, clear water and augmenting it into the river. And what it does is it helps kind of dilute any of the water that's coming back, returning to the river from agricultural that might have phosphates and nitrates and those kind of things in them. So it's helped keep the river really, really pristine.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that in this day and age, it's really, really refreshing to hear a business owner and a conservationist and an angler be able to speak to this issue as passionately as you do, Bill. So that's awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. That's good work.
Well, again, I've been involved since about I got here in the mid '80s in this process, and even back in 1973, there was over 140,000 acres in this area that was identified as wilderness quality. And over those 30-some years, it's just been whittled down to now we're dealing with this little postage stamp of 22,000 acres. And the BLM portion of it, which is designated as a wilderness study area back in 1983, is still a wilderness study area. What happened was that had initially a mineral withdrawal in it, and that mineral withdrawal expired after 20-some years. And in the past, the BLM had always had an opportunity to go ahead and renew that mineral withdrawal, but this year there was a group of a mining club, I think, for lack of a better word, down in Nevada or Arizona that said once those mining mineral withdrawals expired, they should be able to put in a lease. And it went to the IBLA, the Interior Board of Land Appeal, and they appealed the fact that they weren't allowed to put in a lease, and the IBLA agreed with them. And that's why we now have these 5 leases in Browns Canyon that we're trying to deal with at the same time that we're trying to make it a national monument. The mineral withdrawal has since been reissued, so there can be no more new leases in there, but we're still dealing with the 5 that got in 2012 and 13.
So, Kyle, from a campaign standpoint, how often are you pinching yourself that you have an advocate like Bill on your side?
Yeah, we love. Everybody loves Bill. It's we have so many great people, in this campaign. I think, and there's such vast knowledge out there, about the area. And, ever since I lived in Colorado, that was one of the first things I did was float through Browns. And, it's just known throughout the state as the premier spot. And I believe the outtake at Hecla Junction, kind of near the south end of Browns, is one of the most used outtakes for boating, rafts, kayaks in North America, I believe. So it's a very valuable place. The economy is a prime interest, of course. We want to, of course, help that, and there's been very little evidence, if any, or none, that monuments help boost all these economies, and we support the communities there between Buena Vista, Salida, Nathorp. There's many that rely on this water. So.
How do you?
A lot of people actually, we've got 145 miles of runnable water along the Arkansas, and the state of Colorado, through whitewater rafting, we generate about $150 million of economic activity every year, and about $55 million of that happens on the Arkansas, and half of that happens through Browns Canyon. So it's a very important economic generator for those two cities in particular, and the outfitters that obviously operate there. And it's not just whitewater outfitters, but there's several fairly large fishing outfitters as well that operate through Browns.
Has the area historically been home to a lot of mining?
Yeah, they've been mining all around this area. It goes back to sort of the gold rush area back in Cripple Creek, and then there was quite a lot of mining both to the east and west of the valley. And, that has all been kind of petered out. That's one of the reasons they put a railroad through. So there is actually a railroad line that runs right down adjacent to the river through Browns Canyon, but it hasn't been used since basically the late 80s now.
Bill, what's it like working with a conservation organization like Trout Unlimited on an issue like this? It seems like this is a partnership both from a business and a conservation aspect that work really, really well together. What's it like working with TU and Kyle on this campaign?
Well, again, TU has just been an excellent partner. They throughout the state with all the different chapters, and CTU in particular, the state organization. And I don't know if you know this, but I'm also on the board of directors of our local Collegiate Peach chapter. So I've been very involved with TU for a lot of years, and they're probably, in my opinion, of the sporting groups, probably the best conservationists that we have out there. They seem to be in the field a lot more and have a better understanding of the kinds of things that we need to do to preserve these places so they're going to be around for future generations.
I think it's commendable, Kyle, that you run the Orvis Company and live on the East Coast, and yet you still find time to donate, to a Colorado cause. How do you split your time between?
That's always my joke when I walk into retail shows. I ask for a perk, and he's never around. Well, I just tell him to, say, well, his nephew says hi. You got any waiters, or anything like that.
Were you at ICAST a couple weeks ago?
I was not. No,
Oh.
we thought about going, but I did not. No, I did not go.
Yeah, I was there. Cool story, right?
I didn't know you were a fat cat with connections. Now I know.
No, I just went and did my thing, and then went and spent each afternoon after work in the lazy river at my hotel drinking pina coladas. It was a rough week.
Kept all the parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
What kind of fish can be caught in the Arkansas through Browns Canyon? Brown trout by chance?
Yeah, some browns.
Absolutely.
Browns and rainbows.
Yeah, we
and like everywhere in Colorado, we were hit pretty hard with the whirling disease. So a lot of our rainbow populations went away, but then they brought back the hoppers. And we're actually starting to catch a lot more of those hoppers now. They've released about 70,000 of them a couple of times in the river. And we're starting to get quite a few, probably 16 to 18, 20-inch rainbows. And it used to be we'd catch 90% of our fish would be browns. Now probably 30% are rainbows.
That's good numbers.
Yeah, we had a great float, I want to say just a few weeks ago with Bill and some of his guides, and we had some really excellent fishing in there. And even with the flows, they were still little. We've had a lot of snowpack in the past year. So the flows have, they're coming down steadily, but, it was pretty high for that time of year. And we were still able to just do some, I ended up taking my dropper off. And just throwing some tan hoppers and some stimmies and stuff like that, and fish are rising everywhere. Mm-hmm. So we really had a good day. Right now, I think last I saw it was about 800. It was flowing about 800 CFS, which has come down significantly, but I would imagine the fishing in there is just fantastic right now. So,
do you think that that the residents of Colorado have a greater appetite for conservation campaigns like this and causes because of where they live, or is it just something that's different or inherent about people that are from Colorado that care so passionately about these issues, like Bill, for example?
Yeah, I mean, all around Colorado, we care, a lot for our rivers, and we realize that our rivers feed a lot of other states, and the headwaters of everything from providing, for example, the Colorado River. I mean, it used to flow all the way out to down in the Gulf of Mexico, or the Gulf. I'm not saying the Gulf of Mexico, but the down in Baja near, where is that? What is it called? Anyway, it used to flow all the way out to the ocean, and now it doesn't. And all the damming, the Colorado River also provides Las Vegas with all of its water. And so, we realize that, we need to protect our rivers as much as possible. A lot of stuff starts here. So, a lot of people realize that, even if you're not a sportsman, the general public kind of recognizes that. So, it's a very conservation-minded state, which is helpful. But yeah, people value what we have and the water we have, and basically we're living in a high altitude desert here. Mm-hmm. So it's very dry, but it's also very important, and people know how they should take care of those resources. Mm-hmm. So,
was that a strategic move on your part in terms of when you started building this campaign to have the hunters, the whitewater rafters, the fly fishermen, the hikers? I mean, all of those segments represented. Is that was that part of your strategy, or did it start with fishing and hunting and go from there?
No, we have a very vast, a very very large coalition. Which includes several groups. I know Bill's really kind of associated with National Wildlife Federation, Trout Unlimited. We have, Conservation Colorado. There's many groups. Sportsmen is really just a side of this to really kind of bring those hunters and anglers in and tell them the importance of the area. So, there's a. It goes from, I've seen mommy bloggers to the Hispanic community. I mean, everybody's speaking out, in support of this. So it's a very large coalition.
Yeah.
Well, one of the interesting things we did here is we had a public meeting that Senator Udall sponsored back in the spring before this, and we had about 230 people show up at the public meeting, and 200 of those 230 people were sporting these little stickers that were passed out that said, "I support Browns Canyon National Monument." And probably at least half of the people that didn't have those on were people that worked for the BLM or the Park Service, or were reporters or something, and said that they couldn't display that because of their particular jobs that were in line. So we've got really good public support here too, right across the board. And of course, there's always a small number of people that have concerns, and are fairly vocal about those concerns. But by and large, I think we've got probably 85% of the local population also in support. And it's a big hunting and fishing community. I would think that most of those people that are in support also recreate on our public lands, and that's one of the things I think it's very important to most of the folks in Colorado, is to make sure that public lands stay in public hands and they get protected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it belongs to everybody.
So, did you have something to say, Derek?
Yeah, just
probably more important than what I'm going to say.
Well, that remains to be seen. What about the water below that, Kyle? I mean, you've got all those different access points along the river between Salida and Canyon City, and I know from being there in the past that the fishing there is great as well. But there's also some land use issues there as well. Was it? What about the rest of the river there, all the way to the border with Kansas? I guess, right?
Arkansas.
Arkansas, yeah.
Arkansas, yeah. I mean, there is great fishing. I mean, all the way down. I all the way down to Pueblo, really. And Pueblo is an excellent winter tailwater. Coming out of there, you can fish that all year round. Well, you can fish most of the river all year round, but I noticed that a lot of the Front Range anglers head down to Pueblo. Arkansas is just such a massive river that and we're so lucky to have the headwaters here in Colorado. But yeah, Salida below, is just such a beautiful drive. If you ever take it, from Canyon City up to Salida, it's a very beautiful drive. You get into Salida, and then you're right near Browns Canyon, and you can enter, a few access points into Browns from there.
Mostly private, though, on the on the east side of the riverbank, though. Is that fair?
In Browns?
Yeah, no, below that. I mean, on the east bank of the river between Salida and Canyon City, is that mostly private land, or is it BLM as well?
Actually, 60% of the land is privately owned and 40% is public access. But there's quite a bit of public access, again, on the west side of the river or the highway side of the river. There's quite a few little public access points all the way down through there. And the Colorado State Parks has done a pretty good job of identifying where public land starts and ends so that people do not get themselves in problems with trespass. So they put little carcinite posts up that's saying either entering or leaving public lands, and you can see those from the highway quite easily.
What's the status of that project that was designed to hang a big tarp or series of tarps over the river? Is that issue kind of gone away, or is that still part of the art over the river, I guess?
It's rags over the river. Yeah, it's one of those things that has had to go through several legal processes, and I think 4 of the 5 processes that it had to go through have been satisfied now. So there's still one more legal hurdle for that process to go through, and that should be decided sometime within the next probably 6 to 12 months.
So for our listeners, Kyle, in your words, what are the most important, the most important things that they need to know about this campaign and what they can do to help?
Honestly, the best thing we just need your voice. You can join us at sportsmenforbrowns.com. Look us up on Facebook at Sportsmen for Browns Canyon. Join the coalition, on our website. Sign up. Let us know how you'd like to be involved. If you want to be involved more than just your name, of course, we're always willing to.
Will you take our money?
Yeah, will you take our money?
It's really more about voices right now. We want to just make sure that the state supports it, and now we're starting to hear more on a national level. That this is a place that really needs permanent protection.
Sweet.
Bill, from your perspective, from running a business and making a life or a living off of that business with these resources, how important is it to you to have that voice in this discussion from both the personal and the business side? I mean, it's a big part of what you do, right?
Yeah, I'd say the Arkansas, and I live just adjacent to Browns Canyon, so I'm about 5 miles to the put-in and 5 miles to the take-in that he talked about at Hecla Junction and Fisherman's Bridge. So Browns Canyon's right at my front door, and it's probably about 50% of my business happens here on the Arkansas. Mm-hmm. And we have two organizations. We have the Colorado River Outfitters Association, which is a statewide organization, and then our local drainage organization called Arkansas River Outfitters Association. And they've both been very emphatic in their support of this and helping out to make sure that this gets protected, and have done so for quite a long period of time. And I think all of the sort of the other entities in town, like the Chambers of Commerce and the folks that rely on the economy here, the lodging groups and those kind of things. Everybody is very involved and realize how important the river is to the economy of this valley, and has been very supportive.
Well, it certainly is admirable. I mean, I think it's certainly a model for other communities to replicate. I mean, this is got widespread approval from from all sides, and it's an admirable campaign. It's a great thing to do, and a good example for other situations where this is in play right now.
Well, it's kind of interesting that there was a poll that was just done by one of the conservation groups, and they established that 77% of the people in the state of Colorado would be in support of designating Browns Canyon as a national monument. So we've got pretty good statewide support as well, but can always use more.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That's good numbers too.
Yeah, if we could get such a wide range of recreational users to rally around causes everywhere, it wouldn't be an issue.
Except for here, we're so divided that we might have those numbers, but like 10% want this, 15% want something else. Mm-hmm. It's pretty divided up here. I don't know. It's rough.
Yeah, not a lot of cats to herd in Colorado on this one. Everyone's right on the same page.
Yeah, it's good work. I admire that.
Very good.
So, since we are a fishing show, and we always seem to skip over this because we run out of time, but say somebody's visiting Browns Canyon for whatever reason and takes a rod with them, what kind of success can they expect to have if they just go down to the river not really knowing what they're doing?
Well, again, one of the things about Browns is there aren't a whole lot of access points to actually fish the river wade walking. The best way to actually fish the river is from a boat. And
that's good info.
It has to be a rubber boat because it's pretty technical whitewater in there. But there is access points around Fisherman's Bridge. There's access points at Ruby Mountain, and there's access points at Hecla Junction. And again, 5-6 weight rod, dry dropper. Most people have pretty good success if they know how to work the edges. Most of those Browns live along the edges, so you just need to sort of work that quiet water along the edges and work your way. I like working my way upstream when I fish from the shore.
What's considered above average good? Like if you caught a brown of a certain size, what's a good brown out of there? The one that you'd brag about later.
Anything over about 14 inches is a good brown, and probably the biggest browns that I've ever seen pulled out of here have been in the lower 20s.
Kind of reminds me of like the Provo. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anything over 14 is good, and what used to happen on this river, anything over 10 or 11 used to be a really good fish on this river because for years we had a lot of heavy metal that came down out of the Leadville area, out of the Yak Tunnel and California Gulch.
There's heavy metal coming out of my office all the time.
And our previous Senator Tim Wirth, actually got the area designated as an EPA Superfund site, and that's probably done more for the fishery than just about anything, was to clean up all those heavy metals, because those heavy metals would get into the fish's liver, and the liver would give out after about 3 to 4 years. So,
you mean that mining has an adverse effect on fish?
Funny how that happens.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm actually wearing my No Pebble Mine shirt right now. So
another great campaign.
That's coming along pretty well lately. They're getting ready to kind of close the books on it. It sounds like.
Yeah.
I think there's only one company left still supporting it, isn't there?
Yeah, and the EPA is about to put the kibosh on that. They're having one more hearing, I guess, and then that's it. So, yeah.
Good riddance. Right now, you can go comment.
What's that?
Comment on that right now. Go comment on the recent meeting.
Yeah. That's what I was going to bring up. Scott Haid sent out a press release the other day with a link to give out your support. So if I can't give out a link over the show, but you can send me an email or I'll put it up on our Facebook if anybody wants to help out. Or I'm sure you can use the Googler and find it as usual.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, Bill, tell us where to find you to book a fishing and/or rafting or sightseeing trip with you there in Buena Vista.
Yep. Well, I'm actually midway between Buena Vista and Salida, right on Highway 285.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a website. It's just DvorakExpeditions.com. And or you could call my 800 number, 824-3795. And any of those will get into you. Or I can give you a local number, which is 719-539-6851, which I think is the number you guys called me on.
Very cool.
Yeah. Any other words from Kyle before we go, too?
Yeah, where can people find you, Kyle, if they want to seek you out?
Yeah.
Anybody wants to contact me, they can always reach me via the website, of course, sportsmenforbrowns.com, or directly at Perkins, KPERKINS @PU.org.
Don't you also keep a personal blog of some sort?
I did. Back in the day, I did. But right now, it's just Sportsmen for Browns and the Greenbacks is really
there you go.
My focus is these days. So.
Not to mention Orvis.com. So.
Yeah, we haven't.
Kyle, I need a guide on Tuesday. Are you available?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You put them on the spot.
You don't mind me flipping your boats. Yeah.
What's for lunch? That's the most important part, Kyle. What's for lunch?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Bill's outfit there provides an outstanding lunch.
I like food.
Pretty amazed.
That's awesome.
It was pretty expensive. So it's very, very impressed.
Very awesome.
Very impressed.
Yeah, we need to, one of these days, actually do a greenback show. I think we've only done like little 5-10 minute clips here and there, but we just need to do a straight up greenback show.
Yeah. Sure.
That'd be great.
How does Kyle feel about that?
Kyle feels good.
Kyle feels real good.
Yeah, absolutely. Just let us know. We'll try to gather some folks to do that.
We'll make it happen.
Perfect.
Killer.
Thanks, gentlemen, for coming on the show today. It's a great discussion, and again, a great place and
good work.
Yeah,
I'm just adding that to my list of places I want to go now due to the show. So thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
thank you for having us.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks.
Bye.
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 All right. Bye.
You mentioned Cripple Creek. Reminds me of a song.
Cripple Creek. You can go there and gamble. But
do you think that is the Cripple Creek of the lyrics?
It is.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not very politically correct. I think it's more, is it differently abled creek?
Physically disabled.
I think that it refers to the quaking aspens that are alongside the highway down to Cripple Creek as being deformed or misshapen because of the way that the wind blows and stuff up there.
Oh, very. It's good that we have the inside angle through you, because
I could be completely wrong though.
Well, you could be, but you sound like an authority. So
I just believe it because you say it with confidence. So yeah.
It's all in delivery.
We should go fishing right now then.
I probably am. I got a friend that's nearby fishing for steelhead, and I think we're going to eat lunch and then change gears and go fish for
steelhead.
Hey, I hooked a steelhead last Saturday and lost it 4 in a row.
Hey, speaking of steelhead, what do you think steelheading on the Methow is going to be like this year?
I don't know. I think the Methow burnt down.
Yeah, there's not going to be a lot of streamside brush to snag your D-loop on.
No. Yeah, I mean, how many homes were lost in that? It was pretty bad. A couple people that I know even lost homes in the fires.
300 something.
Yeah, and there's not many homes in that valley. Anybody that's been there knows that it's not a very heavily populated area.
No, we've got some friends who've got a cabin over near Twisp, and the fire came within a half mile of their place as of 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And she posted a photo or a video that one of the local news channels picked up. It's a jet. I mean, it looked like a 737 dropping flame discouragement. I mean, this thing came in low, like you can't believe, and made a nice...
that valley?
Yeah, made a nice maneuver. I mean, they couldn't have been more than 150, 200 feet off the ground, and then dropped their discouragement. Mm-hmm. So...
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty rough, especially the town at Pateros right there on the banks of the Columbia. I mean, like half the town burned down.
Yeah, it's brutal.
I mean, anybody that's been through there knows that Pateros is not a particularly large town, but one of the neighborhoods that I drive through to get to one of the fishing holes is gone.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
I mean, it's insane. A couple of people I know had their houses burned down. Not their vacation homes, but their full-time homes, their residents. Another one of the only guides on that river is the lodge that he rents out every fall for that place burnt down, and a couple other places that I'm familiar with and have been to before burnt. So I mean,
wonder how Lightning Pine.
That was one of the places. Yeah, because the lodge that he rented out was right above Lightning Pine. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Lightning Pine is pretty green and grassy and watered, so he might have been okay, except for his house there at Lightning Pine is right up against the brush. So
yeah, wow,
hard to say.
Devastation.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll probably end up there in a couple months and take a look for myself. But actually, my friend that I'm fishing with this afternoon has a place there, a vacation home. You know, it's more of a big shop that he built an apartment in, and it came real close to coming. Like, he thought the place was going to burn down. He pretty much wrote it off, but I think it stopped about maybe a quarter mile away from him. But all his neighbors are gone.
Yeah.
So he got real lucky. So yeah, anybody that's wondering what we're talking about, it's the Methow River Valley. I think the Carlton Complex fire is what you would find the info on. And look at some of the footage of it. I think it's officially the biggest wildfire in Washington's history.
Yeah,
by quite a long shot.
Huge. And I don't know what the containment percentage is now, but it was just like 0 to 1% contained 2 weeks ago. I mean, it was just raging.
Yeah, and I mean, they've got a little moisture here and there. And I mean, I think it rained really hard one day, but I still think the fire kept going because it missed some of it.
Yeah.
So they went from just straight up fire danger and everything one day to flash floods the next day. And then the day after, it kept burning.
Yeah, hail came down and damaged some of the cherry crop nearby in Wenatchee. Mm-hmm. Just brutal weather swings.
Yeah, it's insane over there right now. I'm glad that over here our summers are not that dry. And I mean, they are dry, but we get so much moisture in the winter that things stay pretty green and mossy and don't burn very easily.
But don't move here. We already have too many people.
No, I mean, there's no other reason you should never move here. But I'm just saying, I'm just glad that it doesn't burn.
True.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially you don't want to move to Duval. I mean,
no,
unless you like shart.
Yeah, fart. Fish shark.
Oh, fish shark, sure.
Actually, I had that conversation with somebody last night. We were having a homebrewers meeting, and I brought up, we were talking about the municipal brown trout hatchery, and I mentioned fart. And he's like, I read an article that called it fart, and I was like, yeah, I know that guy.
Well, there's also shart. That's the steelhead art.
Yeah.
It's a subgrouping of fart.
If anybody missed that episode, they're going to be real lost right now.
Check your pants.
We haven't even referred to our studio here as the Shark Shack in like 6 episodes.
Cool.
Remember that was we named it. It's the Shark Shack.
We got to bring it back.
Yeah.
Bring back the Shark Shack.
Bring back the shark.
When do we get back on our normal schedule?
Derek, when does your guiding season slow down?
End of October, first part of November.
And there we go. November through May will be our full time.
We'll see.
Maybe a little before then. I think it won't be like a 9-day thing. I think we'll slowly ramp back up.
You won't even notice that we're back.
You probably haven't noticed that we've been gone either.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so it's whenever I'm in this office every day, so it's just a matter of not inconveniencing you guys in your real lives.
Yeah,
mostly Derek. He's
can't catch fish from the office, so I'm
painfully aware of that.
Or you can change your office.
Yeah, so I mean, I can't wait to get back to a regular schedule, and and it's also another thing keeping us from being. I mean, just like we ran into last week, the summertime people are busy. Our potential guests have clients and family vacations and
our listening audience has much better things to do this time.
Oh, for sure. In the wintertime, people are looking to sit inside and kill time and
all work and no play.
Yeah, so
here's Johnny.
The winter time is just the time that makes more sense to do this on a weekly basis. And then summertime, we just do it when we can.
Yeah. Hey, didn't you go to a fly fishing / conservation oriented gala last week?
A gala
that also dealt with beer.
Yeah, it was cool. There's a new brewery in Kirkland here in Washington, Flycaster Brewing, And he just opened a couple months ago and is going to start, this was one first of many he wants to do of just conservation fundraisers. So he got the Cedar River, the Friends of the Cedar River group in there to do, hand out literature and show what they're doing and try to get people involved. So I thought it was kind of a cool deal.
Nice.
They got a kind of a cool organization, and I wouldn't mind getting them in here one of these days.
How's the beer?
Really good, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For you to say that means something.
Yeah, it was nice and clean, and he's doing good work. I mean, just like any brewery that opens up, when they first opened up, he had issues with his system. A lot of my favorite breweries had the same thing. You do the first batches, when you go from your system you're doing at home or whatever to a commercial system, there's kinks to work out. So he worked out the kinks in a pretty short order. And last week, the pale ale I had was one of my favorites I've had in the area, because a good pale ale is really hard to find. So I was very happy with that. And so, cool little deal he did there, and got people, lured people out with the beer, and then got them informed on conservation when, when they showed up, and it seemed to go pretty well. So hopefully they do some more, or maybe we can team up together and do something.
Get some beer in the studio.
We do we have beer in the studio, and you guys never drink it.
Well, you make malt liquor.
It's 10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Feel a little
Can't
guilty.
drink malt liquor,
I
ever.
will, but I feel guilty.
So, it'd be cool to team up with guys like that are trying to do something locally here. And, if we can team up and use our powers combined to do conservation-y things, then I think that's using our powers for good. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, I'll keep an eye out for other businesses and things of that nature that are doing stuff like that.
Yeah, and if you, our listening audience, know of somebody that, kind of a fringe fishing type business is doing some good work, shout them out.
Yeah.
We'd like to showcase them, put them on the map, launch their careers.
Yeah.
I've been told in such small circles that people actually appreciate what we're doing here.
Oh, yeah?
That's kind of fun. That's kind of nice,
small
isn't it?
circles.
Very small circles.
Yeah. Do they appreciate your trail mix?
You do. You've been fingering the fucking jar all morning.
Whoa,
Hey, family show. Family show.
Wow.
Took all the good stuff off the top.
Yeah, just been picking out the raisins and M&Ms.
Bogarting the trail mix.
Yeah.
Is there any corn in there?
No.
God, I hope not.
No tracers.
I can't eat corn
Why?
because I'll upchuck it. My tummy does not like the corn.
What about maize?
I don't know. I guess we could find out.
How about cornbread?
I can have cornbread.
Oh, just not.
It's not an enzyme thing or anything like that. It's a unprocessed whole kernel corn. Something
Boy.
like that.
I'm like a buzzsaw. I can go through 4 or 5 cobs of corn.
I don't want to see Evan throw up a can of corn.
Next show.
I don't like cream corn. That's kind of disgusting.
Nobody likes cream
I
corn.
love cream corn.
Oh,
Really? Oh, my God, yeah.
Cream corn is what you give to the food bank every winter. You're like, on the cover, like, where'd this can of cream corn come from? That's what you donate.
Dude, cream corn with a pat of butter on top and some salt and
No,
pepper?
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Is that what you cook your clients on the river? Is a
Right, yeah.
can of cream corn?
Well, it's dressed up. It's garnished.
Presentation is everything.
A little bit of cilantro to garnish, and
Some pepperoni sticks and some cream corn.
oh yeah,
Charcuterie.
oh no, oh no,
Shrapnel.
no, I can't think.
Book a
of it.
trip with Derek today.
You get your cream corn riverside lunch.
Let me know if you don't want that. Of course, you don't have to have that.
It's emergingriversguideservice.com. Actually, you got a new website, didn't you?
I did get a new website.
I like it.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been quite some time, so I refreshed it.
yeah. You should go
The folks
look
at
at
the
it.
Flybook did, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're listening,
Emerging.theflybook.com.
there you go.
That's your URL.
Or you can go to emergingrivers.com and it takes you there.
Redirect.
I imagine you're totally booked up this year, right?
Not totally.
Oh, but mostly.
There's plenty of space in October, which would be nice.
So go book Derek. He'd be glad to have you.
I won't serve you cream corn.
Oh, so
Deal breaker.
If you ask for it, of course, I'll provide it, but it's not going to be on the menu.
All right.
oh man, just
Otherwise,
the thought of cream corn is making me all woozy here. It's like the worst food ever.
I thought I knew you guys, but you don't like cream corn.
Oh no! Like I said, nobody likes cream corn, Derek. You missed the memo.
I'll tell you what, if you like cream corn, tell us about it on Facebook.
Yeah, send us feedback.
Tell us about your
The Open Fly Podcast at gmail.com. Send your feedback and cream corn preferences.
Cream corn.
Perfect. I like it.
Yeah. No, we haven't told everybody where they can send us feedback or find us. It's theopenflypodcast.com, theopenflypodcast at gmail.com.
The Open Fly at the Twitters.
Yeah, that. Instagram.
They're going to find it no matter what.
Oh, yeah. We are socially networked.
They're going to find it.
And Kirk, what's your thing that we always need to link to? Some book you wrote?
I have no recollection.
You have a new promotion going on with Dun Magazine, don't you?
Yeah, all of the Woolly Buggers got a promotion going on with the Dun Magazine, which is an online magazine geared towards women in fly fishing.
Ooh.
I thought that was
I like women.
Perhaps my best demographic to target for getting out the message of olive. So
Was Spinners taken?
Anyway, how awesome is it when the editor of a fly fishing magazine, her last name is Ripple. Ripple in water.
Ripple in still water.
Yes. Anyway,
it's just like every so often you see like a car dealership where the guy's last name is actually Dodge or Ford or something. It's
exactly.
Like, was it a self-fulfilling prophecy or
you would I don't know. We should ask Jen.
Yeah.
You would think. She probably has.
I mean, it's just like you grew up and founded a paddle company and a pepperoni stick company.
Pepperoni, bait company, ladders, trucking. I mean, it's the Werner Enterprises.
Yeah, Werner Enterprises.
Much like Kyle Perkins with the Orvis Company.
Right.
I don't perhaps get the respect that I should.
Mm-hmm.
I walked into REI the other day to get a paddle for the stand-up paddleboarding thing, and I wanted a Werner paddle for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So I grabbed one and I went to the cashier and said,
"Show me your ID."
I did. Well, my REI card has my name on it, and I said, as the owner of the company, I'd appreciate a discount. And they were unimpressed, and I paid full retail.
Plus 5%.
But Werner Paddles is out here in Sultan, so I'm thinking I could stop by there and maybe get a free lunch or
practically,
something.
I mean, that's kissing cousins. You're real close.
Yeah, except that the Werner behind the Werner Paddles that was his first name.
Oh.
That's a first name?
Yeah.
Oh.
Why not?
I was going to name my son Werner.
Werner squared.
Yeah. So people would get both names wrong, or at least one of them right. Werner Warner or Warner Warner.
Or you could go middle name, give him 3 chances.
Yeah. Werner Werner. I should.
I bet Spanky's really glad that he doesn't have the first name of.
And he's
Werner.
legally adult, so I can't change his name for him.
He should do it just to spite you.
Oh, no spite involved.
Nick, if you're listening. Which you should be at work, by the way, so you shouldn't be listening.
But this isn't a live broadcast, Derek. This is a podcast.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, he should be at work anyways.
He is.
A job for everyone. And for everyone, a job, right?
Pounding nails today.
Oh, yeah.
Right on.
So,
speaking of...
I got rowed down the river yesterday, which was a nice little change.
By whom?
By Bob Margulis.
Oh, yeah, Wild Steelhead Coalition.
Yeah. So he put me on a really, really nice fish. To which he said that I did nothing, it was all the boat.
Your boat?
Which is 98% true.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, should we get on to the rest of our day here and let our listeners do the same?
Sure.
Like go on kind of a long break?
Yeah, for a couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks, yeah.
Yeah, we don't really have anything on the books right now.
Well, it'll give people a time to listen and go all the way through them at once.
They could, go back like Mike did, the power listen.
Yeah, just do a marathon.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Be good for you.
Like a stream of consciousness podcast.
It'd be good for you. Take a long road trip and just listen to us talk at you for 18 hours.
Be a lot more than that.
Yeah, it's going to be more like 36 hours.
Oh, that's across the country.
That's like 3 days.
Get on the bus. Go.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Thanks for listening in. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Okay.
Or in 5 more minutes when you start the next episode, whichever comes first.
Time travelers.
Perfect.
Right there.
Yeah.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye.